Hi and welcome to the very first video in Module 1 of Axiom Chemistry, Foundations of Chemistry. In this video, we're just going to be introducing chemistry, and I hope you're excited about joining me as together we explore this tiny corner of our fascinating world. Now, I don't know what the word chemistry conjures up in your mind. Strangely coloured liquids, weird shapes, toxic chemicals, or perhaps a clutter of old bottles in a dusty room. Well, there is a bit of truth in all of those ideas, but in Axiom Chemistry we're actually going to be discovering how particles move, learning about what's inside an atom, finding out how materials like graphite are structured, and why other materials are structured in very different ways. We're going to be learning why different flames are different colours, in fact, many different colours, and investigating fast and very slow reactions. Thinking about why chemical reactions sometimes do happen and sometimes don't, and why some oils heat more quickly than others, and discovering why Coke and Mentos seem to explode. We're going to ask questions like, why do metals conduct electricity whereas most other materials don't? What does it mean when people say that lemons are acidic? What exactly is air? Why does my bike rust? Can I unrust it? What's in gasoline and how is it different from diesel? What are plastics and how are they made? Do we really eat metals and can I unfry an egg? And by the end of Axiom Chemistry, you should be able to answer all of these questions and a lot more besides. We're also going to be getting very practical, growing strange and wonderfully shaped crystals, filling balloons with gases that we've made, making things fizz and bubble and change colour. We're going to be making what's called a bioplastic and extinguishing a candle without even blowing on it or touching it. And by the end, you should understand why all of this happens. Along the way, we're going to be discovering a bit about the history of chemistry and the development of chemical discovery and thought, and the scientists who made all of this happen. We're also going to glimpse some of the weird and wonderful ways in which this has impacted the world around us, from curious buildings to household substances and everyday objects, and even unusual artwork. Before I give you a formal definition of chemistry, let's take a look at how it fits into the wider study of science, or we should perhaps say natural science, to differentiate it from what are sometimes called social sciences. Natural science can perhaps be best described as the study of the physical world, so it can answer questions like, why does a ball bounce? Or why does a flower open? But it can't fully answer questions beyond the scope of the physical world, such as moral, philosophical or theological questions. The physical world is of course vast and complex, and so we have different names for different areas of study. You've probably come across not just chemistry, but biology and physics, possibly also earth sciences, botany or biochemistry. Now, the world hasn't been made in these categories. These are just helpful ways for us to label particular aspects of the study of our universe, and there is necessarily overlap between some of these disciplines. So, for instance, let's think about botany, the study of plants. Well, that is a subset of biology. Biochemistry, as the name suggests, overlaps deeply with both chemistry and biology. And if you've studied physics, you may already have come across some of what we're going to discuss in Axiom Chemistry relating to the pressure, volume and temperature of gases. So as you can see, natural sciences are many and varied, but they also form the basis of what we call the applied sciences. Disciplines like engineering, medicine, veterinary science and forensics. It's very likely that you've come across someone working in one or more of these fields, and maybe you'll become an engineer or a doctor yourself one day. But back to chemistry. What exactly is it? Well, if physics is the study of how objects and energy interact, and biology is the study of living things, we can say that chemistry is the study of the properties, composition and structure of substances, the transformation substances can undergo, and the energy that's absorbed or released during these transformations. Let's think about that definition in a little bit more detail. Let's think about the properties, composition and structure of substances. So for instance, chemistry tells us what table salt is actually made from. How about the transformations substances can undergo? Well, for instance, chemistry explains why sulfuric acid can react with a silvery metal magnesium to produce a white crystal and an explosive gas. And finally, what about the energy that's absorbed or released during these transformations? Well, for instance, that explains the very large amount of heat energy we can feel when coal burns. Before I end this video, I want to crack open the door to the vibrant and glorious world we're going to be exploring together. I do love books, but sometimes the thickness and small print and long sentences can make it hard for us to learn just from sitting alone at a desk, reading. But Axiom Chemistry is like a book that's come to life. It's a book which talks to you and explains things to you. A book which doesn't just tell you, but shows you. And together we'll see beauty in new ways as we understand why things are the way that they are. You won't just be regurgitating facts and definitions, but engaging with ideas and learning to solve problems you can barely even imagine right now. Chemistry is, of course, deeply vocational. Without it, no one would have been able to make this canoe or this basketball, powered this air show, brought fresh water to your home, or produced the screen that you're looking at right now. By studying chemistry, you'll be exploring and engaging with the world around you. You'll be asking and answering questions about the very nature of matter, and you'll find you're soon thinking new thoughts and asking new questions, ones you'd never even thought to ask before. Far from the caricature some have of science, that by studying the world we somehow strip it of its inherent beauty and kill all our childlike wonder. Instead, I've found that the more I scratch the surface of the intricate and complex nature of our physical world, the more beauty I see, the more I can wonder, and the more I'm amazed. And I hope that by the end of our Axiom Chemistry journey together, you'll be even more excited about the incredible world which we live in. But for now, that's the end of the first video in Axiom Chemistry. And in summary, here is the most important thing for you to take away from this video. That chemistry is the study of the properties, composition, and structure of substances, the transformations substances can undergo, and the energy that's absorbed or released during these transformations. If you haven't yet written that down, I suggest you pause the video and do that right now. Well done, and see you in the next video where we're going to start our journey together by thinking about particles.